happiest holidays I can remember. And I still get a thrill when I go onto a train station. I love travelling by train. I mean, trains aren't the same now, but I can still remember the excitement of going to the station and waiting for this big steam train to come into the station, and my mother holding my hand saying, "Don't get too near the edge." Oh, and it was wonderful. And we never went further than, we either went to the east coast or the west. We went to Scarborough or Scarborough. We never went to Brimley, Scarborough, or we used to go to Morecambe and Blackpool. Those were the three places.
They used to run night trips apparently.
Did
you
they?
know, leaving at about
Charabanc.
7 o'clock on the night from Lofthouse Station.
But I never went on those. I heard my mother and dad talk about charabancs. Were they horse-driven?
Yes, they were. Yeah. I've got some photographs of some of them.
Yes, yeah. Yes, no, we never went far. We thought we were going to the ends of the earth if we went to Morecambe. And I remember going to the pantomime in Leeds. We used to go, I went with a neighbour and a daughter actually. My mother never went, don't know why, but Mrs. Butterfield used to take her daughter and me, and that was exciting, going to the Grand. We always sat up right up in the gods and watched the pantomime. And then I remember the escalators in Lewis's. You know, I mean, it was, to go to Leeds was absolutely a tremendous day out. And now you fly to wherever, and you're there in a couple of hours. And
I think when you're kids you remember all local shops. Can you remember any shops around this area when you were a youngster?
I can.
If you explain us where they were as well.
The one I remember most was because it was nearest home. It was just on the bend in Bolus Lane here. Baker's, Mr. Baker had it. And it was a sweet shop and general groceries. But I remember spending hours looking in the window when I had my sweet coupons in my hand and deciding which sweets to buy. And then there was another shop at the bottom of Bolus Lane. John Curtis had that one. That was another general store. The Co-op was at the top of the road, the Borough Co-op. And then the Industrial Co-op was up opposite Outwood Church.
Plenty of fish shops, weren't they, in Outwood?
Fish shop, there was one at the bottom of Bolus Lane, Nellie's. Yeah. Well, I remember it before Nellie had it, but I forgot what they're called.
Didn't it used to belong to Hartley's at one?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah. And the lady that served behind the counter, it wasn't where the Chinese is now, it was in Bolus Lane, just before you get to the Nightingale. It was a little, I don't know whether the building's still there or not, next to the hairdressers. It might have pulled down, I can't remember. That was where it was, and the lady who served fish and chips there was called Harriet Ann, and I think her name was Hartley, I'm not sure, but she was a fairly large lady, and it was only a small shop, and so to get to the pans, to get the fish out, she just had to turn, and then turn to the counter. She didn't have to walk about, you know. It's ideal. Yeah.
What about butchers, Marjorie? Do we have a butcher?
There was one at the, just at the top on Leeds Road, opposite Bolus Lane. I remember Walker's having that, but I don't remember whose it was before. And then there was Frost's, but it wasn't called Frost then. I don't know whether there was a butcher's there or not. Butcher's, there used to be one near Annie's fish shop as well. Yeah. Don't know what I can't remember what they're called.
Do you remember the cobbler at Upper Road?
I do, yes.
Do you know anything? Do you remember who that was? The name Bramley comes into.
Bramley's lived next door to us
Mm.
here.
Mm.
Jim Bramley. Tom. No, I don't think it was Bramley. But I can't remember what it was. My sister might remember that. She's 8 years older than me. She'd remember a lot more than me, actually. But I do remember it.
It's changed quite a bit as Outwood, hasn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes. It's changed a lot. I mean, I remember Rooks Nest Road and Coach Road before Mountbatten was built. I remember them starting to build Mountbatten. I remember the first house that went up. I could take it and show you which one it was. Yeah, because I lived down Rooks Nest then.
Oh, did you?
And we went down there when I was 9. Yeah.
We moved into 61 Mountbatten Christmas when I was a kid.
Yeah.
1948 would it be? 1949, maybe something like that, maybe 1950. I remember as a kid going down there, and trampling over all the manholes. So they were still built. They built the lower half first, didn't they?
Yes, they built. At Mountbatten Avenue, would it be? I can't remember. But I know the house, the first pair of houses that went up. I'm just trying to think. I would be about. Yeah.
Do you remember Folly Hall
13.
Farm?
Oh yes, yeah. That was opposite the Woodman.
Yeah.
I worked for over 30 years for MP Stonehouse in Wakefield, and Oliver Stonehouse married the granddaughter of Wright, I've forgotten his first name, who had Folly Hall, and then her brother Eddie Wright. I think he lost a lot of money and then let you sell it. But yes, I remember Folly Hall, because that adjoined my grandfather's land.
Yeah.
It's where all the new houses are built now.
Do you remember anything about, is it a scout hut or scout hall that's opposite where your grandfather's farm was? That building opposite, it's...
Oh, you mean the big house? What did you say they call it?
I don't know.
No.
The scoutmaster have it at one time.
Well, Arnold Taylor had it when I was a child, and I don't remember who had it before him. I presume it was in his family, but I don't know. Was he a scoutmaster? He might have been. He never...
No.
He used to wear shorts a lot, but I don't know that it had anything to do with the scouts, but he might have had. He was a gentleman. He was a very nice chap.
We used to go down there, down Nagalines, you know.
Oh yes, yeah. I used to, as I said, my mother's family lived in Baker Lane, and I used to go across the land and across the Nagalines and into Baker Lane. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Right, thank you very much, Marjorie.
Well, I haven't been much help, I don't think, with the
it's
history.
been very interesting as that. And unless there's anything else that you can think of that you'd like to...
I'll try and find out the name of that cobbler.
Yeah. Ellis.
No. Now, Ellis, I've forgotten his first name, lived across here, opposite, and he did mend shoes. He had a little hut in his garden, and he mended shoes for a lot of people, but it wasn't his occupation. As far as I remember, he didn't do it full time, he just did it in his spare time. But there was a cobbler's shop in that yard. There used to be a little yard at the top of Bowler's Lane, didn't there? Stone houses, yeah. But was it Tom House? I can't remember. But he lived opposite.
Somebody told me, I mean, I don't know, it's a long while since somebody told me, there was a woman called Fish Liza
Fish lice.
who used to be down Oxthorpe. But that's obviously going back a lot before your time.
I don't remember
No.
Fish Liza. But a lot of people used to have nicknames, didn't they?
Yeah, there were Firewood Arthur, wasn't there?
Firewood Arthur, yes, and do you remember the chap who used to go around with the vegetables, the cart, horse and cart?
Mr. Broad.
Yes, yeah.
Herbert Broad.
Herbert Broad, yeah.
Yeah. And then there were Billy Leather, wasn't there?
Billy Leather,
I can't
yes,
remember.
yes.
I can't quite remember them.
I can't, but I know the names so well. I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't talk about him. I think he drank quite a bit, did Billy Leather, did he? Yeah. Billy Leather, I wonder how he got that name.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Methodist Church has a very strict rule on drinking, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, we never had any alcohol in the house. Never. At Christmas, I always used to think it was very daring. I used to think, golly, this is most unusual. We used to have, my mother used to buy a small bottle of ginger wine. And that was, I mean, there was no alcohol in it as far as I know. But we had that with our Christmas dinner. It was sort of very daring. But my dad never went in a pub in his life. And there was never any alcohol in the house. I'm afraid there is now, you see. We talk about how things change. I mean, I like a glass of wine. I don't see anything wrong in it. As long as it's kept, in check. But no, my parents.
Right, thank you.